right. By now, I'm pretty sure you guys got the gist of our top 10 and 10. I'm going to give you 10 books in 10 minutes. It was a rough week. I'm going to just throw that out there right now.
You did.
It was a rough week to find some interesting stuff. But I think I found some interesting things for you. So I'm going to start with
all store variants. You put all store variants in it?
No, I don't do.
Oh,
I
really?
don't do that.
No?
We don't do store
Okay,
variants.
well, I mean, then they can be done. Well, it can be
I
done.
could, but I'm not doing that.
All right.
All right. Starting the clock now, and we're going to start big ticket. And with Namor showing up in the Black Panther 2 trailer, Submariner #1. Yes, it's not his first appearance. I get it, but it's still a 9.8 of Submariner #1.
What do you think
for a healthy? What is that? 14 grand?
Yeah.
Wow.
$14,300, which seems impressive, but I think it's actually a little bit down.
Yeah.
Over the year, because it was close to 20 grand at the start of the year.
That's steady. I think I think we're going to see these books like
you're going to see some, but it's still 25%, like a 25%, cut at 20 grand. Like $5 grand is a lot of money.
Yeah, but I mean
that's what I wanted to point it out. That's all.
Yeah, I think it's proper. Dude, what do you guys think of the wings flapping in the? I hope
put them in motion, so they made sense.
I'm gonna stick to the point where I don't know why he doesn't fly upside down.
Yeah, especially like that, like the fairy part of it. I just wish they would have I don't know.
It's a little bit of a dip. It's a little dip. That's all. Our next item is also another big ticket item, and this is a Hulk 3.0. And this one sold for a decent amount too. This was almost 20 grand. And this is a Pence copy. This is a UK copy, which I thought was kind of impressive because these usually sell at a little bit of a discount, like a decent discount from the
pretty expensive book for what that is.
But it's a 3.0. And if you look at it,
do you think people knew it was a Pence copy?
You can see like the regular, I guess the US version 3.0s are more like 25. Mm-hmm. So hitting 20 for a Pence copy is kind of impressive.
Mm-hmm.
At least I thought so.
Jesus.
All right, moving on to hit up some of the news. Yes, last week we talked about the Deadpool 3 announcement. We're getting Wolverine. And yes, these books are still selling. I'm not going to give you the prices on them, but these 3 books are still selling. These Wolverine, Deadpool crossover books, they're still moving. But one that's also moving and was moving last week, but seems to be getting a little bit of a bump. We're going to talk about this one this week. And this is just a random Wolverine 99 annual where these two face off and they're on the cover. So people are just buying this stuff and they're paying a little extra. Not a ton.
Just because they're on the cover?
Because they're on the cover and they fight inside, but it's like $25 to $35 now. Whereas just back in August, I went to August just to kind of just say over the time, this was $6, best offer on $12. Like this was like a nothing book.
I'm going to dig through the 90s Wolverine box to pull these out for the comics.
Yeah, I mean, everything's kind of selling. Like if you see Deadpool and Wolverine, it's selling.
Good. I'm going to put it on there. Because this book you could sell for $1.
Yeah, it was like, again, it was $6 to $10, I guess.
In real life, it was $1. At cons, this was $1 book. It wasn't.
Yeah. Apparently, a lot of people are watching this. I haven't gotten into this yet, but a lot of people are watching this Dahmer show on Netflix, and it's causing all these Dahmer weird comics that we got back in the 90s. Because in the 90s, we printed things. There was OJ comics, there was Bo Jackson comics. We had comics for any celebrity or minor thing that happened. I think there was Tanya Harding comics.
There was.
But Jeffrey Dahmer, like this book in particular, is one that I decided to spotlight. All of them are selling. I'll just point that out. All of these Dahmer books are selling, but this one from Boneyard Press, look at this. It's like hitting $200, like $150 to $200. Somebody's at auction. Like that's 38 bids to get to $172.50. So there's people fighting over these, and just back in August and July, like a little over the summer beforehand, this is like a $20 book, $15-$20 novelty item, like that kind of thing. It made sense, but like $200 now, just because there's a Netflix show.
No, do you think it's because there's all the like there's
it did make a hot 10 list.
What made a hot 10 list?
This made a hot 10 list last week, so I think that also caused people to start digging these out. And start selling them.
You also think the controversy with the show causes this because like there's family.
Yeah, I guess that adds to it too. But
my point is, I don't know. Whatever. I mean,
I think that what I think you were going to get with your point, like this stuff doesn't last. Like, yeah, this will spike now, but in 3 months, it's still going to be $200.
Good job, congratulations! You got $50 for $1 book. Leftover Zaggy. Good
Nice.
job.
Yeah,
Good job,
you
man.
still got it. You still made out. All right, going back to the Mario butt controversy, I guess. So I figured, you know what? Like I said, it was a rough week to look for things to check on. So I said, you know what? Let's check on Mario. And I'm not talking about Mario's first, which I guess is what in Blip. And there's not a lot of sales of Blip
Yeah,
comics.
it's hard to
Blip one.
find.
But
Yeah, amazing.
I decided to go with the Valiant book, the Super Mario Brothers.
Dub's favorite.
I love this book.
Yeah, it's selling. Like it's steady. Like this is just a price check. It's not the prices are generally on the uptick or anything. They've hit these prices before so it's just consistently now hitting like over $100 to getting close to $200, and these are like 8.5s. These graded copies, they're not even like super high grade, but there were copies just a couple of weeks. Last week it was only $50. You could sneak some in there, so it's not so much a price bump, but I was just checking in on prices.
That's reasonable though.
$50. Yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah, but there's
That's
plenty
cheap.
of
That's cheap,
even before, like in August and in July,
Mhm.
there were still $100 copies selling. At the same time, some would go for like 50. So pricing has been inconsistent. So I was just kind of taking a peek and seeing what was what.
Yeah, I mean, this one is at a decent price, like 175 is at an 8.5, 8.5.
Yeah, they're 8.5s.
Yeah, 175. So like, but I mean, any issues from this first run are really, I mean, getting them in decent shape is not easy.
Yeah, I
We
know.
talked about actually, wasn't this like our first TAC show that nobody watched?
It was, and it was close to that time too. One of the Stormwatch, one of the LCSs near me. I remember when they had a bunch of these early Valiant Mario, the video game books like the Zelda.
All the Mario books, including the
And
one
they weren't
AOA.
that expensive. They weren't like dollar books, but they were $30, $40. I could have bought them. I just was like, nah.
What was it? The game ones too. We covered all that. It was
Yeah,
good.
we
Go
did.
back and watch sometime. It was a good show. It was fun.
Early days. Early days. So as I mentioned before, we did get that Black Panther True trailer, and we did get to see Shuri. We know with the Legos and all that. We know this is Shuri
all knew
in the suit.
This is gonna be.
So I figured let's look what's Black Panther 2 doing, and it's not so much prices going up, but it's starting to sell again. Again, it's only like 25 copies or so the last few days, but it's still starting to move. And again, for the prices that it kind of has been, and this has been like $100 for a while now, so it's not really spiking in price. It's just copies were kind of stagnant forever. That now they're starting to move again. And then somebody took a best offer on 478 on that 9.8. So I don't know what they took. But
cool.
The book is moving again.
It looked good. That Black Panther trailer looked good, man. Look good.
Ready.
I'm good. I'm ready. Yeah.
I'm excited. All right. We talked about this one on Sunday.
Ooh, nice.
We did talk about this. And yes, there were spoilers at the time creating FOMO saying how this is the biggest Afro comic in years. Yes, that's an actual headline. That's not me.
That was
creating the FOMO on this particular book last week. This came out last week. And now, well, it's like $11. All right. $12. Triple cover. All right. That's great. But when that FOMO was pushing, this was $25. Look at it, like $40 for 2 copies. There were plenty of people selling multiple copies because this was not hard to find.
Yeah.
There were plenty of copies to be had of this book, and only this cover, mind you.
Right.
Nobody cared about the cover C, which I like better, or the lightsaber choose your own destiny cover. Those are still pretty cheap. Even this cover, you can still, even though I listed them as $12, $11.
Yeah,
there's copies selling for like $6 in cover.
Let's be a little bit honest with it. The covers that you did for last week. Those were the 2 high sales for it. There was about 50 of the books that sold, and some of them sold for either cover price or
I was looking for high because it was being pushed.
Yeah, that was the highest
for high sales.
but it was like the majority of them sold in the $6 range. And once again,
there's a lot in the 10 to 15. There's a lot in the 10 to 15.
The Mormon book, actually, that was a surprise because that book did kind of peak at the $10 range for multiple copies, like 5 or 6, which was interesting.
Oh shoot, we still got to move. We only got 48 seconds. Talking about the other monsters that we might be getting in the Marvel universe, I started looking like, hey, let's look at Midnight Suns. So quickly, 9.8 on Ghost Rider 28, which a lot of people think was the first Midnight Suns, even though they show up in the splash page.
Yeah.
Prices seem to be down a little bit. A copy sold at Heritage for only $79 for a 9.8, where it was 120. A grand difference between 120 down to 80 isn't huge, but it's still a little bit down. There's also newsstands of this book too that generally sell for a little bit more, and a copy of this sold for 171 this past week, whereas it was selling for $300 just a couple of weeks ago. So again, it looks like it's just down a little bit. But if you don't buy that, and we're going into overtime as I try to wrap this up, if you don't buy that as the actual first appearance because it's only a splash page, the full actual joining of the team coming together in this storyline happens in 31. I figured I'd look at this one real quick. And even this one's prices are a little soft. $90 a copy sold for on October 2nd. So just this week, $90, where this was again 130, 160 just a couple of weeks ago.
Speaking about early TAC shows, I think we covered these guys in early TAC shows too, and a lot of the characters.
We did, because you can get these things in the dollar bins at the
time.
Wow, how did I miss all this? And the last book, I think this is the last one. This is that Fortnite book. There were special editions. One of our viewers actually pointed this out to me on Chasing Ghosts and gave me a whole rundown of how these were they were like, I think planned to be released, but they weren't released. There's a lot of signed copies, polybag. They're virgins. There's some foils. There's like 4 or 5 different versions of these rare Fortnite giveaway books, and these things are selling for a lot. Here's the virgin. A lot of the copies that sell are signed by like Capullo. A foil copy sold this past week as well, with the the blue foil trade dress, and you can see these things are selling for like $3,000 and $2,000.
These were last year's though, right? Not the current. Yeah,
this
the
is
DC,
the foundation.
Right. Yeah. So because now Marvel's coming out right now. Marvel Fortnite.
Yes, the Marvel one's coming out right now.
So this was last.
I don't know how far back this one went, but yeah, this wasn't this. I guess the second volume of the Fortnite DC stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, these particular ones, these like sketch black and white covers, are apparently very, very tough. But that's what we got, and I know we went over because we were lingering a little bit, but that's our top 10 and 10 for this week.